Alan Watts once said, "When you know that the I that you think you are is not separate from the universe, then manifesting is simply dancing." Alan Watts was wary of spiritual materialism, the idea of using practices like chanting to get things. He believed this approach missed the point. True manifestation, in his view, was not about making the universe grant your wishes. It was about realizing that you and the universe are already one. The boundary is illusory, and from this realization, things shift effortlessly. The moment you try to hold life, you lose it. But when you let go, when you flow with it, then everything you truly need begins to arise of its own accord. Um, when chanted with this awareness, becomes a surrender, not a demand, not a tool for control, but a way of merging with what already is. And paradoxically, in that surrender, creation becomes effortless. Desires that arise from this space are not egoic. They are the universe expressing itself through you, like a bud opening on a branch. One sacred current that has flowed quietly through the hearts of monks, seekers, and mystics for thousands of years is the sound of Om. Pronounced as a vibration, is not just a chant. It is a symbol, a sound, and a spiritual tool that connects inner consciousness with outer creation. For in Om lies a truth often whispered but rarely understood, that what we vibrate, we create. And in this understanding lies the mystery of manifestation. Ambient Om chanting begins faintly in the distance. Om is considered the primordial sound, the vibration that underlies all existence. In both Hindu and Buddhist traditions, Om is said to be the sound of the universe itself. In ancient Buddhist teachings, Om often precedes mantras, as in the powerful Om Mani Padme Hum. It is the gateway, the opening frequency that aligns mind, body, and subtle energy to higher realms. In Buddhism, particularly Tibetan Vajrayana Buddhism, Om symbolizes the practitioner's own impure body, speech, and mind, which through mantra and practice are transformed into the enlightened body, speech, and mind of a Buddha. Om is not a word with meaning. It is a vibration with being. When chanted, it is said to synchronize the individual with the greater rhythms of the universe. In ancient texts, the universe itself is described as having been born from vibration. The Upanishads speak of Om as Brahman, the ultimate reality. In this context, Om is not a tool. It is not even a technique. It is reality itself. But how does this connect with manifestation? Manifestation is the art of bringing thought into form. In modern contexts, it is often reduced to wish-making. But in the deeper, more refined spiritual traditions, manifesting is not just about attracting things. It is about aligning your consciousness with your vibrational truth. If all things are vibration, as quantum physics and ancient mysticism both suggest, then every thought, word, and sound carries a signature frequency. Is considered the purest of these frequencies. Think of it this way. When you chant you are not saying something. You are vibrating yourself into resonance with the fundamental frequency of existence. And what happens when you resonate with the source? You begin to create from it, not through force, but through harmony. This is where manifestation begins. When practiced with attention, Om does not just calm the mind. It dissolves the boundaries between self and world, desire and fulfillment, intention and action. You become the vibration of that which you seek, not by asking, but by being. In Buddhist philosophy, suffering arises from attachment and illusion, from identifying with the separate self. But in the space Om opens, the illusion softens. Manifestation, then, is not about getting what you want. It is about vibrating at the frequency of truth, love, clarity, or peace, and allowing the world to arrange itself around that signal. In the Buddhist world, Om is not simply a sound, but a gateway. It opens the path to deeper mantric practice, meditative presence, and inner transformation. The most recognized expression is the sacred six-syllable mantra, Om Mani Padme Hum. Each syllable of this mantra has significance, but Om, at the very beginning, is the seed, the bija, the primordial essence. In Vajrayana Buddhism, where sound and subtle energy are integral, Om carries a direct transformative power. When Tibetan monks chant Om in deep, resonant tones, they are not merely vocalizing. They are aligning their body with their breath with their mind with awakened intention. Through mudra, gesture, mantra, sound, and mandala, visualization, Om becomes a thread that connects the practitioner with divine qualities: compassion, clarity, non-attachment. In meditative practice, Om is often repeated slowly and rhythmically, each vibration echoing through the bones, resonating in the chest, and rising through the crown. Some practitioners visualize white light expanding from their heart with each chant, dissolving negativity, invoking purity. Others feel as a pulsation at the center of the forehead or as a soundless sound in the void of their mind. This practice is not a superstition. It is subtle technology, a tuning of the human instrument. As the practitioner continues, ego identity loosens, cravings fade, stillness arises. And into this stillness, the seeds of true manifestation can be planted, not from egoic wanting, but from still, centered knowing. Clears the soil. It prepares the vessel, and it invites the world to mirror what the soul already is. We are not just physical. The Buddhist and yogic view of the body includes a subtle anatomy, currents of energy, rivers of prana, or as Tibetan texts call them, winds and channels. As a vibration, travels not just through the ears but through these channels. In the subtle body are chakras, spinning centers of energetic activity. Though the chakra system is more commonly emphasized in Hindu texts, many Tibetan Buddhist practices also recognize key energetic centers in the body. The root chakra for grounding, the navel chakra for creative energy, the heart chakra for love and compassion, the throat for expression, the third eye for insight, the crown for transcendence. When chanted with focused awareness, is said to travel from the navel to the crown, awakening and aligning these centers. The vibration starts low, deep in the belly. It rises through the chest and through the throat, then through the head and third eye, finally dissolving into silence at the crown. This path mimics the path of energy ascending, the kundalini rising, or the realization of the emptiness nature of mind in Buddhist terms. As Om vibrates upward, it can clear blockages in the subtle channels and bring awareness to trapped emotions, refine the frequency of thought and intention, and harmonize the inner with the outer. In the context of manifesting, this is essential. You cannot create clearly if your channels are clouded. You cannot manifest peace if your heart is tense. You cannot draw insight if your mind is noisy. Om becomes the internal tuner. With each vibration, it adjusts your system like tuning a musical instrument. When all is in harmony, when the whole being vibrates in resonance, intention can move swiftly from thought to form. While Om has ancient roots, its power is not merely symbolic. Modern science is beginning to uncover what sages always knew. Sound affects matter. In somatics, the study of visible sound vibrations, we see how sound frequencies create patterns in water, sand, and other mediums. Low disordered sounds create chaotic forms. Higher coherent sounds, like the pure frequencies of mantras, create beautiful, symmetrical shapes. When chanted slowly and steadily, generates harmonic patterns that mirror natural order. In neuroscience, chanting has been shown to activate the parasympathetic nervous system, reducing stress, synchronize the left and right hemispheres of the brain, decrease activity in the amygdala, the brain's fear center, increase theta brain waves associated with meditation and creative flow. This is not superstition, this is resonance. The human body is more than 70% water. Every cell responds to vibration. When you chant Om, you are not only affecting your mind, you are sending ripples through your entire system. Imagine your intention, your desire to manifest clarity, love, healing, riding those ripples. Through repetition, focus, and an aligned emotion, that intention becomes coded into your energetic field. And just as tuning forks resonate with matching frequencies, the world begins to respond. When you vibrate at the frequency of peace, peace finds you. When you vibrate love, love echoes back. When you become the tone, the world becomes your resonator. Alan Watts, the eloquent British philosopher who helped introduce Eastern thought to the West, often spoke of not as a chant to something outside us, but as a recognition of what we already are. To Watts, was not just a sacred sound. It was the sound of the universe playing itself. He once said, "You are something the whole universe is doing, in the same way that a wave is something the whole ocean is doing." And so when we chant OMM, we are not merely vibrating a syllable, we are participating in the cosmic game of creation. We are hearing the sound of life being in us as us. Watts urged people to stop seeing themselves as skin-encapsulated egos, separate observers of the universe. Instead, he suggested we realize that we are expressions of the universe, like ripples on water. He said, was the auditory key to this understanding. You are the eternal thing that comes and goes, as all forms, and yet is none of them. And when you really understand this, there's nothing left to do but to laugh and to sing and perhaps to chant Om. In this light, Om becomes a declaration of non-duality. There is no inner or outer, no seer and seen. Only one dance, one rhythm, expressed through a sound that is at once humble and infinite. Alan Watts often described the sound as a way of remembering. Remembering that the game of life is not to get somewhere, but to be here, fully, deeply, playfully. Watts also spoke of time and illusion, how the past and future are mental constructs and that only the now is real. He said, "There is never anything but the present, and if you cannot live there, you cannot live anywhere." In this view is a bridge to the present. It is not just an ancient mantra. It is the sound of now. Not a reaching, but a settling. Not a doing, but a being. As you chant you are not pulling something toward you. You are sinking into what already is. And from this place of alignment, of wholeness, the so-called manifestation simply unfolds. No effort, no grasping, just a return to the rhythm that was always playing. Science, once confined to the material, is now expanding its lens. Quantum physics, neuroscience, and vibration theory are beginning to echo what mystics have long known, that the world is not solid, it is energy, and energy moves in patterns, and those patterns are shaped by frequency. Is frequency. When you chant Om, you are generating a coherent field of vibration. It's not just sound moving through air. It's resonance affecting the brain, the nervous system, and possibly even the quantum field around you. Numerous studies using EEG technology have shown that chanting Om activates regions of the brain associated with calm awareness and interoception, the ability to feel the body from within. It increases alpha and theta waves, brainwave states linked to relaxation, creativity, and deep meditation. These states are ideal for neuroplasticity, where the brain rewires itself more easily. In these states, intentions have greater impact. Why? Because the subconscious, the part that actually drives most behavior, is more open, more receptive. Becomes a portal. It brings the mind into the exact frequency range where new beliefs, visualizations, and manifestations can take root. You're not just calming down, you're entering the laboratory of transformation. When you chant especially for several minutes, you stimulate the vagus nerve. This nerve governs the parasympathetic nervous system, our rest and digest state. It slows the heart rate, it lowers cortisol, it relaxes the gut, it sends a message throughout the body. You are safe. You can receive. From this place of safety, the body no longer guards against life. It opens to it. In this open state, the signals you send through thought, feeling, and sound are amplified and mirrored back by the world around you. As Dr. Joe Dispenza describes in his work on meditation and manifestation, when you combine a clear intention with an elevated emotion and sustain it in a coherent brain-heart state, you begin to affect the quantum field. Helps create that coherence. When the mind, body, and subtle energy align through sound, manifestation stops being effortful. It becomes a natural result of energetic congruence. In quantum terms, reality is not fixed. It is a field of probabilities. Our focus, emotion, and expectation help collapse that field into specific outcomes. This is not magical thinking. It's emerging science. Researchers in the field of epigenetics have shown that thoughts and emotions influence gene expression. Others in quantum biology are exploring how vibrational signals affect cellular communication. And perhaps most exciting, studies on biofield physiology show that our bodies emit electromagnetic signals, subtle but measurable. These signals change based on what we think, feel, and even what we say. Chanting Om, especially when done with focused intention, strengthens the signal we emit. It stabilizes the electromagnetic field around the heart and brain, and it broadcasts a coherent frequency into the space around us. In simple terms, you become a tuning fork for what you wish to live. And just like tuning forks that vibrate in harmony with their environment, the world begins to resonate back. In the end, whether you approach as a mystic, a scientist, or a seeker, the message is the same. You are not separate from the world you wish to create. You are the vibration shaping it. Centers you and calms your mind. It opens your heart and aligns your frequency. It helps you remember you are not becoming. You already are. The true power of in manifestation is not in asking the universe for something. It is in becoming the state where that something already exists. Want peace? Vibrate peace. Want love? Be love. Want abundance? Chant from fullness, not lack. And is the doorway.